Hi, I'm Linda Searles. I am founder and director of Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center, and I want you to come join us in this tremendous opportunity to build a stellar facility for wildlife at McDowell Mountain Park. So please come join us.
Arizona's Sonoran Desert is a vast, open area with finite resources. A tough place to make a living if you are a coyote, a fox, a javelina, or any other animal that calls this area home. Territories are fiercely defended. What happens when land is changed, turned into roads, large commercial areas, or developments with hundreds of homes? This is what happens. Who is there to help these animals that have lost their habitat, their mothers, their food or water source? In 1994, Linda Searles knew she had to do something.
There was an orphan coyote puppy that came in, and I just knew then that I had to do something, that these animals couldn't just die on the side of the road because there was no place for them to go. So that's why I started it. I wanted them to have a second chance. 88% of the animals that come in here survive and are returned to the wild. Some of the other animals that come in and they're severely injured, some of those maybe won't be able to survive in the wild, but they can stay here at the sanctuary. One good example is Mrs. Foster. She's a bobcat that sustained an injury to her head and her jaw, broke her jaw. She became one of our best foster moms ever. And so her job, because she couldn't be released, was to stay here and raise all the orphan kittens. And that really taught those kittens, she taught them to be wild kittens. So when we released them, they knew what to do, and they had been raised by a wild mom, and she was very protective of them. If you went in the enclosure with her, she would come out front and stand up all fluffy, and she would make those kittens go hide in the den until we left. So that was an amazing success story that started out as a tragedy.
The first stop for an animal brought to Southwest Wildlife is the clinic, where our vet techs do a thorough examination. We get an x-ray, an MRI, take blood for analysis. Any immediate treatments that are needed are completed.
So this guy was brought in because he's got a bald spot on his head, and I'm just going to check him for mange.
Following stabilization, they are placed in quarantine until it can be determined they have no contagious conditions.
We'll do a complete physical exam, do any specific diagnostic testing, treat the animal for any injuries, and then we'll do a series of vaccines for that species. Once they seem healthy and clear for their quarantine phase, we'll move them out to the next stage in the rehabilitation.
Orphaned animals go into the neonatal unit and are placed in an incubator with an animal care attendant. Because our sanctuary animals need stimulation, which we call enrichment, we spent extra time giving them problems to solve, much like they would face if they were in the wild. Feeding our animals is a science in itself, requiring a nutritionist approach where diets are balanced and provide the necessary percentages of protein, greens and fruits, much like they would find in the wild.
Now I'm starting to know why our bears are kind of overweight, because they don't have to work for their food. We do everything for them. I am peeling the corn, the husks off the corn for the javelina. Every animal has a different diet, and we write them on the board, or there's little sheets over there to make sure they get the most nutrients that they need.
And almost all of our animals receive supplements and or medication due to the trauma they experienced.
And then they get a different weight depending on the time of the year too. And then they're training also, so they'll get a lot of chicken during their training sessions.
His food of choice, his treat of choice is berry pie filling, and that's what he works for. He loves it, and that's kind of how I trained him. Heavy and target. Good boy. What a good boy.
Since wildlife has become a part of the urban scene, people need to know what to do and what not to do. Our Trail Guide volunteers share the stories with over 5,000 visitors each year. If every one of those visitors shares our story, it can go a long way to making a difference.
There we go. Okay, little kids, come on, back this way. Now, Maya, look what I have here.
We not only do the public, we do all school-age children. It's a big part of what we do here at Southwest because we make the public and the children aware of what wildlife is facing on a day-to-day basis. And the more they understand that, the more that they can do at home and take it out to help the wildlife stay wild.
Our future looks good if we can find enough support to move to an area with more open space. The county has offered the land for us to use if we can find the means to prepare it. Our supporters have never failed us over the last 28 years, and so we are optimistic about the future.
I've been a committed donor for probably closer to 18 years. And the reason I'm a monthly donor is because that way everyone in here can plan. They can plan for the supplies they need, they can plan for the food they need, they can count on it. So even in times when food is high and donations are down, the monthly donors can carry them through.
No matter how many times we come out here for the tours or the special events, we are treated with respect. People are happy to see us. It takes a village. That's what Linda says. And we are proud to be part of that village.
You know, Donna and I have donated to many charitable organizations over the years, and Southwest Wildlife is clearly our favorite. We feel better about our donations here than any other place we've donated, ever.
As Southwest Wildlife expands our physical facility, we must continue caring for the displaced, orphaned, injured, and confiscated wildlife in need. We will always be here for them, as we have been for our first 28 years. Please take the time to see what we do, visit our sanctuary, meet our animal ambassadors, and hear their stories. When you do, you'll understand why our community of supporters is so strong. Be they volunteers, graciously giving thousands of hours of their lives, generous donors contributing funds, or both, Southwest Wildlife wouldn't be here without grassroots individuals who care deeply. The future of Arizona's wildlife depends on us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us. Come to Southwest Wildlife. Join us.
Join us! We need you. We want you.
Join the movement to save our wildlife. One life at a time.